Today's question: is Lutheranism the same as, let me say that again. Are Lutherans the same as Protestants? Great question. Short answer, yes, Lutherans are Protestants. Longer answer, I call Lutheranism a flavor of Christianity. So there's lots of different flavors. So Christians is the biggest umbrella term. That's people who believe in Jesus Christ as God, as a big deal, as the Savior of the world, right? We are followers of Jesus. We proclaim Jesus as God. And then get more specific, right? So there's different flavors of Christianity. There's Catholic, there's Protestant, where Lutheran is under, and there's Baptist, and then there's evangelical, free, less structured, right? And these all sort of have long history breaking off from one another. So the Lutherans broke off from the Catholic Church. It actually all started with Catholics. That was the big Christian church of the West. I shouldn't say it all started, right? There was the East-West divide even before that, but we'll start with the Catholic one. So there's the Catholic Church, and we live in a world where church and state are separated. We live in a country, I should say, where there's a separation of church and state. It wasn't always that way. So the church was the state, and the church had a lot of power, and the church didn't use that power well. And so the reformers, of whom Martin Luther was one, were really speaking truth to power, being like, hey, you guys are corrupt. You guys are not treating people well. You're proclaiming this gospel that cares for the poor, the widow, the orphan, but the way you're treating the poor, the widow, the orphan is just not, you're exploiting them. Like, it's not what you're saying. There's mismatch here. And Martin Luther wanted to just reform the church. He wanted to clean up the corruption, get the actions in line with the gospel they're proclaiming, and basically the church didn't go down without a fight. So there were there was an attempt on his life and trials and all sorts of stuff, and that resulted in a break in the church. So then we had the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church, and the Protestant Church is all sorts of different flavors, really depending on the reformer and the reformer's theology and what part of the world they went to. So you got a lot of Lutherans in Germany and Scandinavia, which is why a lot of our roots are German and Scandinavian, right? But yes, so that's the long answer to where sort of the Lutheran Church came from. And Lutherans are Protestants, as are Methodists and Presbyterians and United Church of Christ and Reformed Church. There's a whole bunch under that Protestant umbrella there. And we can talk a lot more about the nuances of different churches if you want to, but there is the long answer to Lutherans and Protestants.